Red arrows galore, and for many, it'll be time to rage, hit that wildcard button. And if you are on the magic chip, this might be the video for you. This is my 15-man wildcard squad ahead of game week 24. Check it out. Before we see the team, though, let me talk a little bit about wider strategy, the benefits of wildcard 24 versus the other popular strategy, which is a wildcard game week 32. So first and foremost, let's just talk 24. Of course, you're going to see the pros. You're going to see the team I'm about to show you. It looks damn good. And by going early, you get to maximize the number of weeks you've got this new shiny team. By holding later in the season, you might only benefit for 6, 7, 8 weeks. Going now, you're getting a better team for a longer stretch. Of course you are. Of course, there's fixture swings in play. We're going to look at those fixtures, but you can also jump on shiny new toys at Chelsea, at Man United, for example. Good fixture swings. Form has been shown. Lots of players we want to buy that we can't get to without the wild card. The biggest negative, however, of 24, and therefore the biggest pro of game week 32, is a wild card later in the season will form part of your wider chip strategy. Okay, that's really important around the blanks and the double game week. So what do we know? Game week 31 is the EFL Cup final. That is a blank game week for 4 teams. The 2 teams that are involved in the EFL Cup final, likely Arsenal, Man City, and their opponents. So for example, we could see no Arsenal fixture, no Man City fixture in game week 31. So straight away, many that are on wildcard 32 will be able to target 31 and go, I can dead end my team. I can sell Arsenal and City players if I need to win 31, knowing I can wildcard them back in 32. And when I do that in game week 32, I'm going to know the future landscape of doubles and blanks. That's really important. And it can form this huge part of your wider chip strategy by going 32. Of course, if you are going 24, to catch up with wildcarders, I think you've got to go with 4-5 transfers into game week 31. You've got to be able to catch up and react and also try and dead end your team and set up well for the blanks and the doubles. So if you are going wildcard early, stop looking at short-term punts and think about rolling transfers from now and catch up with wildcards in 31. Guys, it's so team dependent. There's no right or wrong answer here. I don't even think there's an optimal play. I think it really looks good in 24. The team I'm about to show you looks great. And I think it will be really good in 32. What works for your team? How many free transfers do you have? How many players do you have that you'd want a wildcard? And this is an exercise I'm going to go on right now with you guys. So here's my team, right? I've taken out all the players I would sell on wildcard. So on wildcard, straight away, you can see I have 6 players, 5 outfield, 1 goalkeeper. So 6 of my 15 would stay. I'd be selling a whopping 9 players. That's cause straight away to wildcard. But let's go through some of those players. Are they reason enough to wildcard? For me, I'm not so sure. For some, the 9 players you're selling might be big red flag players. Ones you know you need to get rid of straight away. Ones that are big fires in your team. I haven't got many of those. I've got players that I'd be okay selling, but I'm also quite happy keeping. Raya, for example. Saka, Soboslai, Ekitike. Those players probably fit that bill. The red flags, however, the ones I have to sell really quickly, Lewis Potter, maybe O'Reilly, maybe Miley. A few, but I don't think it's too pressing. Let me know what you would do if you were me, and I'll give you my conclusion at the end of this video. But this isn't about my team. This is about your team if you're on wildcard, or if you're not on wildcard, about knowing what players you might want to start targeting, because these 15 players are awesome right here, right now. Guys, I would love you to show support for the channel if you want to. Hit the like button. It helps the algorithm, but also do subscribe if you're new around here. And if you've got a question, drop a comment and I will, of course, respond as I always do. Right. Let's start with the goalkeepers, shall we? I've got Raya. You've seen grayed out here. I'd still probably go Dubravka. Jose Sarr is 4.2. Worth noting that. Like, Jose Sarr is a perfectly good option. Now he's 4.2. He's had a price drop. Wolves look similar to Burnley defensively. I'd stick with Dubravka just because I've got him. But if money's not an issue, maybe you go to Jose Sarr. But Dubravka I wouldn't be going Arsenal goalkeeper Raya. I'd be going Sanchez. I like the Chelsea fixtures moving forward. When we look at that ticker, Chelsea, middle of the ticker, but if you look at the ticker for the next 4, looks really good for Chelsea. Home fixtures versus West Ham, Leeds, Burnley. They conceded very late to Crystal Palace. Very nearly. Chalobah, Sanchez, Cucurella getting clean sheet points. Didn't work out in the end, but it was so close. And I fancy a couple of clean sheets in the next 4. 4 Rosenior's men who are looking quite good. So it'd be Sanchez. And then at the back, alongside Sanchez, it'd be double Arsenal defence. So I'd be selling, defenders I'd be selling, Lewis Potter. Obviously, he's out the 11. I bought him during AFCON because Dango had gone. And he got me a couple of clean sheets. Happy days. Virgil van Dijk, not an emergency sell for me. Finally gets the goal, but Liverpool do look poor defensively. They don't know they're going to keep many clean sheets. And yes, he got me DEFCON and a goal. Great, but meh. And then O'Reilly, I'm just not sure with Aït-Nouri being back. I'm not, and Ake now can't play centre-back because Gahey's in. Does Ake get some games at left-back? Maybe. Just feel like O'Reilly's going to become a bit of a risk. So I'll be selling those three, and Timber, obviously Timber. Just double Arsenal defence makes sense, right? You could even go triple Arsenal defence, but I'll go double. Timber's always got some attacking threat. Senesi's a DEFCON beast, and I love the Bournemouth fixtures. Top of the ticker. If money's an issue on this draft, and you can't afford the draft I'm about to show you, swap Senesi for Hill. It saves you 0.9. Hill is 3.9. He started the last 5. He's just as good at DEFCON as Senesi. Not as quite the goal threat, but Hill is now first choice centre-back at Bournemouth. He started the last 5. And then Tarkowski, just DEFCON beast, isn't he? We love Tarkowski. And now Branthwaite is back in the Everton back line. I fancy more clean sheets, and that also means more DEFCON for Tarkowski. Because when he plays alongside Michael Keane eats the DEFCON. When he plays alongside Branthwaite, last season tells us Tarkowski eats up the DEFCON. And Branthwaite is now back training. And then Mukiele, I mean, I've paid 4.2 for him. You'd be paying 4.5 if you're just buying him. But Mukiele is just awesome. When he doesn't get DEFCON, he seems to get an assist. Sunderland love defending. The home fixtures, you would play him. The away fixtures, you'd probably bench him. Burnley at home would be the entry point. I see a clean sheet in that one, surely. So the back line is quite expensive. Most weeks, I think I'll be playing a back 4. You're never going to be benching Arsenal defenders or Tarkowski. Probably not Senesi either. This would be a back 4 most weeks, sometimes even possibly a 5 with Mukiele. Or if a Senesi or Tarkowski had a bad fixture, you swap them out for Mukiele and you maintain the 4. It's got Chelsea cover. It's got double Arsenal cover. It's got DEFCON beasts and Senesi, Tarkowski and Mukiele, 3 of the best in the game. What it doesn't have Virgil van Dijk. I'm fine with that. It doesn't have a Man City defender. Mark Gahey is a good pick. And it doesn't have Chalobah, who is the game's second best point scorer at the back, but it has got Chelsea cover with the good fixtures in Sanchez. Money spent, money well spent. I like that back line. Let's talk midfielders that I'd be selling. Saka, just purely on price. Clearly Saka's a good pick, right? Szoboszlai, as he just had his points, I have 13 points. Delighted with them. Wouldn't be an emergency sell, but on a wild card, would I be picking Szoboszlai? I don't think I would be. He's perfectly fine. Remember, now Salah is back. Szoboszlai loses pens. Part of the reason I bought him was because of AFCON and penalties. He did get a penalty. He happened to hit the crossbar. And then Lewis Miley, I mean, I might keep him, but it's just, I think I'll be going for my 8th attacker on this draft is going to be a forward spot. My 4.5 attacker isn't going to be a mid in Miley. It's going to be a forward. Probably guess who that's going to be. So, not emergency sales by any stretch. And I'll give my conclusion, will I wildcard at the end of this video. Rice comes in for Saka. Similar output. Some might say Rice is the better asset. I mean, total points suggest Rice is the better asset. And you save 3 million. I think that's a no-brainer long-term. I wish I'd made this move a long time ago, but I've never had that emergency transfer to feel like I need to sell Saka to Rice. As much as I love Declan Rice, it's always felt like a luxury sideways move. But of course, when money's tight, you're going to be making it. And I've always thought when I wildcard, that's when Saka probably becomes Rice. Remember, Arsenal are very likely to get to the EFL Cup final. And when they do in game week 31, they're double against Wolves. You see there, top right of the ticker, Arsenal play Wolves in game week 31. There's a lot of chat and a lot of forecast that fixture, not the Man City fixture that will be a blank, but the Arsenal fixture that will be a blank from 31 will move to 26. If it moves to 26, Arsenal will have a double game week of Brentford and Wolves. 2 away games, but Brentford and Wolves. We're all going to be captaining an Arsenal player that game week. Now, think about that if you're wildcarding. Who do you want to captain in game week 26 if Arsenal have the double? And remember, this is a week where, Haaland goes to, Haaland plays Fulham at home. You're still, I don't think, going to go there. You're going to go to the double game week guy. Will you captain Gabriel? Will you captain an Arsenal attacker? If it's an Arsenal attacker, if you want that to be Bukayo Saka, then keep him on wildcard. If you think you're going to captain Declan Rice, pick him on wildcard. If you're going Gabriel, you're going to have him on wildcard anyway. But think about your Arsenal captain in game week 26. Personally, I'm probably going to be going Gabriel. And I know that sounds boring, but I just fancy Arsenal for clean sheets. They'll get 1 out of the 2. I don't think it means I'd need to keep Saka or Rice. Don't want to overthink that one. So anyway, that's just a little bit of housekeeping for game week 26. Enzo Fernandez, what a boy. The reason I bought Enzo last week was worst case scenario, and I said this and I showed you the average position maps. Worst case scenario, you get Enzo as a number 8, box to box. Best case scenario, you get him playing the number 10 because Cole Palmer's out on the right, or Cole Palmer is just out as he was against Crystal Palace. The benefit of Cole Palmer out not only means Enzo plays number 10, but it also means Enzo takes penalties, and that's another reason why I bought him. He scored his last 4 penalties at Chelsea. I think he's taken 5. He missed his first one. He scored the last 4. And at 2-0 up, I thought he was going to Panenka it. And I was really worried because his run-up even made Henderson, the Palace goalkeeper, think he was going to Panenka it. He ran up like he was going to dink it. And Henderson stood still, and then he just slots it bottom corner. And my heart was going, but big points there for Enzo Fernandez because you get the penalty. It also got him 1 bonus point, fine. But Enzo Fernandez now, there's 2 weeks I've owned him, 2 returns. Happy days. He's a 6.5 million midfielder. Of course, you can go Cole Palmer on your wildcard team. And I'd be very tempted if I thought he could play twice a week, but I think he'll probably play Napoli. And then will he play at the weekend? I'm just never sure on Cole Palmer. He's going to get a lot of Premier League minutes, but he's not going to be a 90-minute man week in, week out. And I think when you're spending 10 million plus, you kind of have to do it. If you don't want to go there, Enzo Fernandez is the next best thing. And yes, of course, you save 4 million. Like, it's a huge saving. And you might get fewer points, but not many fewer. Enzo Fernandez is in. And then Morgan Rogers, the guy I've wanted in my team for ages, an excuse to bring him in on wildcard. Morgan Rogers gets the assist for Buendia at Newcastle, but he also, Morgan Rogers, gets extra points. I've never seen Morgan Rogers as a DEFCON beast, and he's not really been one. But against Newcastle, he clocked 14 defensive contributions. Remember, he needs 12. So he gets DEFCON. He gets an assist, he gets a clean sheet point. Straight away, you're like, oh, okay, that's an 8-pointer for Morgan Rogers. Good, solid, very good performance, a 7.7. If I don't wildcard it, there's every chance I bring him into my actual team. Villa are flying. The fixtures for Villa in the next couple look fantastic. Sorry, the next 4, because it's 3 homes, and Villa at Villa Park are even stronger. They've just gone to Turkey on Thursday night. They go to St James's Park. I had Newcastle to win that. Thursday night in Turkey, then going up to Newcastle, and they still win 2-0. That is an informed team. Brentford, Brighton and Leeds, all at Villa Park in the next 4. Love that. And then away trips to Bournemouth and Wolves. Like, that is a lovely next 6. And Morgan Rogers is of huge, huge interest to me. Ollie Watkins also got the goal. You're not going to see Watkins in this team, but I definitely cover that Villa attack. And then we look at Man United. Double Man United midfield. I've said for all of last week, I want to get to at least double Man United in game week 24. Now, Bruno Fernandes is a lock for everyone. You're going to be buying Bruno. Price rises galore in the last few days. Playing number 10, all of the goal involvements, higher up the pitch, United looking better, but you get all the points with Bruno. You even get some DEFCON. Who do you pair him with? Now, if money's an issue, Ahmad's amazing value. I think Ahmad is better value than Mbermo. I think Ahmad at 6 million is a steal. But if you can afford it for this spot, I think Mbermo, given the fact he's playing number 9, if money's not an issue and you're not going Salah and you're not going Palmer and you're not going Saka, then why not go Mbermo? But if value is important to you, I think Ahmad's amazing. So this is just another United spot. I think Ahmad will get a lot of game time under Carrick. But I think if Mbermo is going to play number 9, is he worth the extra 2 million? I'm not sure yet. They might get similar points, but slightly safer given the fact he's the number 9. Although you might get some early subs. 8.2 million. Why not on Burmo? Again, let's look at those Man United fixtures. They've just played Man City and Arsenal. Well, now you get a good run of 4 games. I mean, more than 4. But Fulham at home, Tottenham at home. So back-to-back at Old Trafford. They go to West Ham, they go to Everton. Then it's home to Palace, who are looking, winless in 10. Newcastle, Villa, Bournemouth. It's a really good run. I actually think they should be slightly higher in the ticker, but because United haven't been great in recent years, they're not so high in the ticker. But I like that very much for double United attack. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, do hit those buttons. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting. You can also hype nowadays. Don't really know what that does, but hit the button. Let's talk forwards, and then we'll do my conclusion. Will I wildcard? No, in fact, let's just do that now. Let's just do Will I wildcard now. You don't want to wait around for it. And then I'll show you the forwards. So the team I'm showing you, I think looks amazing. And when we go back to my actual team, knowing I'd be making 9 changes, like that's pretty big. I look at that team and go, oh, maybe I should just wildcard because I've been making 9 changes. But then I go through the individuals and I am happy with them. I'm happy with my 3 Arsenal, even though I'll be changing 2 of them. I'm happy enough with triple Liverpool. Like, I don't love Liverpool, but Szoboszlai is so good at his price point. I think Ekitike will get goals because the shot volume's there. And Virgil's having a shocking season, but he's always got the goal threat. So I don't see them as emergency sells. And Liverpool fixtures, Newcastle City up next to Anfield is tough, but then it's quite a nice run. And it is at least 2 at Anfield. I don't think I need to. If I hadn't made transfers last week to bring in Enzo and this week just gone to bring in Bruno, I'd probably have wildcarded because I would have gone, oh, I've got 4 free transfers rolled, wildcard now, and I can get to 5 free transfers, and then I can have a mini wildcard in 32 when everyone else wildcards. But because I bought in Enzo, because we heard Cunha was out, I bought in Enzo, thank God I did. Because I bought in Bruno, because we heard Foden was out, thank God I did, I had to make 2 moves. And with that in mind, I can't go into game week 24 with all these transfers banked that I had planned. I planned to have 4 free transfers. I've only got 2. And I think that's the changer for me. Use those 2 free transfers, have a great looking team, and build to that dead end 31 wildcard 32. I think is where I'm at. I need to give it more time. And on Tuesday, I'll drop my early thoughts video, my transfer plans video. And I think what I'll be saying in that is no wildcard. And I'll be using the 2 free transfers and targeting players that I'm bringing in on this wildcard, bringing in players like Aston Villa players, like Morgan Rogers, maybe Man United players. So look, that's the midfield. Let's talk forward, shall we? A couple of forward spots available. Now, for many, it will be just play Haaland up front. We need to discuss Haaland because someone talking about selling him. I think that's crazy. Will you captain Haaland in the next few weeks? Maybe not. Like Haaland's next couple are tough games. And given the fact that he's been blanking and Bruno Fernandes has emerged as a good option and there's other good options putting their hand up, I don't think Tottenham away and Liverpool away are necessarily definitely captain Haaland. Maybe against Spurs away, not Liverpool away, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you can captain him, sure. Maybe I will. But even if you're not capping him, knowing there's a world in which many aren't picking Saka, Salah, Palmer, money's not an issue, really. You can still have Haaland because many in the past would say 14.5 million. You can't own Haaland if you're not sell him if you're not going to captain him 70% of the time. That's not the case in my opinion right now. I still think he's a luxury you can afford to have if he's blanking. And remember, you probably paid 14 million for him. You're buying back at 15 million, you're losing a lot of team value. So Haaland would be in. Cheapo in Mane, absolutely cheapo in Mane, better than Krupi because he plays 90. And again, Mane is going to be third sub a lot. It's going to be a 4-4-2 quite a lot of the time, probably. Maybe even a 4-5-1 at times. And then look, João Pedro. I thought the lap would be Rafinha's boy. Rafinha gave an interview last week to Brazilian TV. And obviously, the Brazilian reporter pushed him. It was in Portuguese, but he translated it. Pushed him on João Pedro. And Rafinha said he sees João Pedro as a 9. I was like, oh man, Maresca didn't. Like, Maresca preferred him as a 10. I think João Pedro has always played 10 more than 9. But I do remember when João Pedro did his first interview with Chelsea TV on the day he signed. Compare yourself to any player in the world. He compared himself to Robert Lewandowski. I think João Pedro wants to be a 9. I think Rafinha sees him as a 9. And whilst he will share some minutes with the lap, knowing he scored 2 good goals in 2 weeks, the spot is his. And if you're not going Palmer, with the fixtures in mind, I think you want to go double Chelsea attack. Just knowing from the next 4 games, you get West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. I'd go to double Chelsea attack just as a fixtures play. It might be short term, but I would go there. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, thank you for watching. I'll see you for my team video later in the week. Tuesday, I'll be dropping that Tuesday morning. Will I wildcard? I don't think I will, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't. It's a really good wildcard team. If it works for your team, as I always say it, play your own game, and it's so team dependent on when you should use any of the chips. Certainly the wild card. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.